Hi, welcome to Triptia. I hope that you will doing good. The world is filled with mind-blowing man-made historical sites and wonders. Today, I am showing you a list of the best historical sites in the world, sites that every traveler should visit at some point. Let's start this video. Our list begins with Petra, Jordan, one of the new 7 wonders of the world. This ancient city is located in a narrow gorge and was built by the Nabateans more than 2,000 years ago. This historic place became an important stop on the caravan route between Africa and Arabia. Petra was largely abandoned after a major earthquake in 363 CE. However, shepherds used the ruins for shelter for centuries afterwards. Petra is carved into the side of a cliff and most of it is still hidden underground. The only entrance is through a narrow gorge, called the Siq, which opens onto the city's main square, or piazza. Petra was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. It's now one of the most popular tourist destinations in the Middle East. The Colosseum in Rome is one of the most iconic historical places in the world. This iconic amphitheater was completed in 80 AD and is a marvel of engineering. This ancient structure was commissioned by Emperor Vespasian in 72 AD and took over a decade to complete. The Colosseum was used for gladiatorial contests and other public spectacles. It is estimated that over 500,000 ancient Romans lost their lives in the Colosseum. Today, it is a popular tourist destination and one of Rome's most famous landmarks. The Great Wall of China is an ancient defensive barrier that spans over 13,000 miles. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in China and a must-see for anyone visiting Asia. This series of fortifications was built to protect the northern border of China from invaders. It was constructed in several phases during the Qin dynasty, 221 BC to 206 BC, and rebuilt during the Ming dynasty. The wall was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1987. You can visit this historical site by taking a guided tour or walking around on your own. The Pyramids of Giza are some of the oldest and most famous monuments in the world. These ancient Egyptian pyramids were probably built in the 26th century BC. They were part of a funerary complex and were constructed as tombs for 3 pharaohs, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Great Pyramid, is the largest and oldest of these pyramids. It is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and the only one still standing. There are many mysteries surrounding this structure, such as how the ancient Egyptians were able to move such large stones and how they managed to build the pyramids so precisely. The Acropolis is a hilltop complex in Athens that contains some of the most famous historical sites in Greece. The most famous structure on the Acropolis is the Parthenon, an ancient temple dedicated to the goddess Athena. Built between 447 BC and 432 BC, it's considered one of the greatest achievements in classical architecture. The Parthenon has been admired throughout history by many renowned architects such as Le Corbusier. Other structures on the Acropolis include the Propylaea, a gateway, and the Erechtheion, also known as the Temple of Athena Polias. One of the best ways to see these historic sites is by taking a guided tour. The Great Sphinx of Giza is an ancient statue that was built between 2500 BC and 2400 BC. It's located near Cairo in Egypt and is one of the oldest known monumental sculptures from antiquity. The massive structure stands 73 meters high and is thought to have been built for Pharaoh Khafre. Based on a mythological creature, it was carved from one giant piece of stone. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of Italy's most famous landmarks. Construction began on a marshy site in 1173 and only finished in 1399. After the first 3 stories were built out of the 8 that were planned, it was noticed that the tower was leaning. This was due to the soft ground on which it was constructed, and the tower has been leaning ever since. The tower leans at an angle of about 5.5 degrees, which is enough to make it seem like it might topple over any moment, although it's perfectly safe. You can visit this historical site in the city of Pisa, which is located in Tuscany. This ancient structure was built between AD 532 AD 537 as a Greek Orthodox cathedral in Constantinople, which is present-day Istanbul. It was converted into a mosque after the city was conquered by the Ottomans in 1453. In 1935, this famous Turkish landmark became a museum and has since been open to visitors from all over the world. The interior of this historical site is covered in mosaics that depict the Virgin and Child and other religious figures. The Palace of Versailles is considered to be one of the most spectacular palaces in Europe. It was built in the French Baroque style of architecture. Louis XIII built a hunting lodge on the site of the Palace of Versailles in 1623. It was replaced with a chateau which was expanded by Louis XIV in the late 17th century to become one of the grandest palaces in Europe. The palace grounds include a maze, parkland and several other historical sites such as Marie Antoinette's Hamlet, a rustic retreat. Versailles is located just outside Paris and can be visited on day trips from the city. Also known as the Houses of Parliament, parts of the Palace of Westminster have been used for legislative purposes since the 13th century. A fire destroyed much of the original complex in 1834, and the new palace was constructed in its place. The most well-known part of this historical building is the Big Ben Clock Tower, which was named after Benjamin Hull, the first Commissioner of Works. This famous London landmark was renamed Elizabeth Tower in honor of Queen Elizabeth II in 2012. Visitors can take guided tours of the Houses of Parliament or simply enjoy the views from outside. Chichen Itza is one of the most famous historical places in Mexico. It's not known exactly when it was built, but it's thought to be at least 1,500 years old. Built by Mayan people, it also has elements from other cultures including the Toltecs and the Aztecs. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is best known for its Pyramid of Kukulkan, which is also known as El Castillo. Also on the site, there are several cenotes, sinkholes that are found in Mexico. This was all from it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share and comment if you have some suggestions. If you are interested in more videos like this, then subscribe to Triptya. Goodbye.